outside.
Talk about that video, will you?
That joke lit.
Talk about the video.
Well,
You
now
know,
I'm
I
letting you
just I
know. I'm
missed out on it, but let's talk about that video. Tell the
yeah.
people what
So
they have to look forward
so
to.
I say vacation vibes all the while because growing up in Philly, I went home every summer to Jamaica. Every time I went home to Jamaica, we was stealing y'all music, bro. We was jacking for beats early, but we put our own mix on it. We put reggae to it. We put a different dancehall spin on it. So one of my favorite tracks from last year was the Baby Shake Something. Like
Hmm.
the beat just go crazy. And one day we was at an open mic. Me and Mark was actually at an open mic in Stab Arm, and the reggae came on, and the crowd got different, and I was like, oh yeah. Oh, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. So
Mm-hmm.
went and wrote it, John, and Big Homie was like, we need a visual. All right, say less. So we just shot the video. That'll be out. Hopefully, it'll be done in about another week.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Can't
absolutely.
wait for that.
Yeah, so let's talk about the very first performance that Code Gray did not long ago. Let's
mm-hmm.
talk about that experience, how it made you guys feel, um, and any other performances that you guys may have had. Does it get more exciting each time you hit the stage? Do you feel more comfortable? And now, having performed at several venues, I know that you guys are waiting for that sold out stadium. Let's talk about that.
Mm.
Let's talk about those dreams.
First one, World Cafe.
For Cafe
Hmm.
Live, that joint was for me. It was epic. Like you know what I mean. It was like wow. Like you know what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
the first one felt like this was real. Like this is it sold me on Cold Gray. Like you know what I mean. It was an idea, then it became like reality. Like you know what I mean. Once we hit the stage, you know what I mean. It was like this really it. Like that's what we doing. Like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it was dope. It was a solidification that like yo, this is my group. This is what I'm gonna be doing. This is my life. Like I'm cold grayed out. Like you know what I mean. And like like the first time it felt natural. It felt like you know what I mean. Like we knew each other for ever. Like you know what I mean. It felt like comfortable. Shout out to you know what I mean Obi-Wan for putting in the time and making sure that we bonded like brothers because it was built on a brotherly like system. Like you know what I mean for us to have that kind of connection and chemistry on stage. Like so, yeah, man, it was dope.
Okay, let's for a moment, before the other members answer, what were you thinking when you decided to remove your shirt? Because I happened to be in the audience and the crowd, let me just tell you guys, the crowd was going wild. I mean, it was definitely a Cold Gray moment. I mean, from start to finish, the energy was out of this world.
Hmm.
I mean, you guys were given superstar
Hmm.
already. I mean, it was phenomenal. I was one of the ones that just lost it in there. It was absolutely phenomenal. Yes, 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 Mr. Marcus. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the removal of the shirt.
Right.
What you were thinking in that moment, because you were definitely in a zone.
I was
Yeah.
thinking pause.
Well, for me, it's like this. Like when you watch a movie, right? Like it has the plot set up.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the problem, the protagonist and all of that. Like then you got the climax. Like you know what I mean? I felt like that was the perfect moment for the climax of the show. Like you know what I mean? It's all about dynamics. You know what I mean? You gotta take him to another level. Like you know what I mean? So of course I'm gonna start off with my shirt on. And then, you know what I mean, it's gonna get hot. And then we gonna go to another place, like, you know what I mean? So the shirt comes off after that, like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, Mars, this is we were made aware shortly after that that night for you was one of those triumphant moments because you had gone through something private, but you came out there and the crowd wasn't able to see. They couldn't see through what you were fighting through. But personally, how was that for you? Having to, come out there and just still give it your all, how was that moment for you? What were your thoughts during that moment when you had to come out and perform in front of an audience and this was you guys' first, time performing live? How was that for you?
Victorious warriors win first, and then they go to war.
Mm.
Defeated warriors go to war first, and then they seek to win. So for me, I overcame one of the most craziest moments in my life from losing my loved one. But it was bittersweet to me because I know that he was there with me in spirit. So at the end of the day, it was what it was, man. I took it for what it was and I used it as strength instead of letting it beat me down. That was my release that night. And it definitely put me in a better place. And I know that he was probably smiling down, watching the performance and, watching me and my brothers do our thing. So that sat well with me.
Okay. And looking out into the crowd, you know, you had a bunch of supporters there. You all had a bunch of supporters there. Was that a strength for you to see, those who um, support you outside coming into that atmosphere and watching you perform for the first time? Would you say that that gave you the extra strength that you needed?
Absolutely. Everything is everything else, man. So, I definitely fed off the energy that was in the room. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciated everybody for coming out that night and showing me and my brothers love. It wasn't just about me that night. You know what I'm saying? That was a world premiere of CodeGrey. You know what I'm saying? We stood out. History was made. And I just want to thank everybody that came out.
Absolutely. Captain Jamaica,
Yes,
let's go.
sir.
Yes, talk
Yeah,
about that moment for you.
moment was dope. I mean, we're all solo artists in our own right. So all of us have actually been performing for a long time. That was the first time we actually shared the stage together as a group. So, you know, it's different when you go from practice to live. When you go from okay, this is a dope idea to wait a minute, might got a little something. You know what I mean? So, we naturally feeding off of each other's energy. My audience or my crowd is mingling in with his crowd and his crowd and everybody just coming together to have a great time. So it was amazing, man. It was amazing. And
Absolutely.
big shout to 808 Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot overestimate the soundtrack that we have behind us. The music itself is doing half the work before we even start rapping. Like that man is a monster. So we got some stuff, and we threw Miyachi up on the projector all the way from Tokyo.
They wasn't ready.
They
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
ready.
fire.
Turned into a whole concert.
Yes,
Yeah,
it definitely did. I mean,
Pop graced us with his presence.
Yes.
Young boy.
yes, absolutely. So move to you now. I know that you were not on stage with these gentlemen, but how do you feel moving forward? Are you nervous about performing with the guys for the first time? Obviously, you're up for the challenge because you're here. Let's talk about that for a moment. What are your thoughts moving forward?
Um, Moving forward for me is I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I'm not none. I'm just right now. I'm in the process of being prepared for it, and I'm not stepping down from the challenge. So it's like I'm just going to continue to focus and be locked in and stay ready for when it is my time to come and perform on the stage because it can happen at any time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great wisdom in this.
Yes. Okay. Now, finally, well, not finally because I have one other request. But guys, let's talk about the artist development that you guys have been receiving. How has that affected your life? What kind of changes has your artist development brought for you?
Oh, this is top secret. You're gonna have to pay us.
$1
More
worth of
for
games
it.
for free
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
You feel me?
man,
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Have to tax you.
Yeah. It y'all would just have to see how it play out for us. Just no artist development is just it's not a thing that we take lightly around here. You feel what I'm saying? Like this is what the game been missing. And we hone in on it and we take it very seriously, and definitely pushing to take things to the next level. But shout out to our mentor, the person that put this together, manager, whatever y'all want to call him. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got our back, and he holding us down for sure.
Absolutely. Now, guys, what advice would you have, knowing that there's been a lot of challenges in the music industry, a lot of stigma that isn't all that well? What advice would you give to artists um, that are seasoned, as well as upcoming artists? What advice would you give them? In order for there to be longevity, that will come out of their careers. What advice would you give those guys?
Man, watch out, cause CodeGrey coming. Advice.
Now, what I would say to the up and coming artists coming up, because that's really what we about. We about pushing the culture forward, and bringing the lights to the dark to the light. Bringing that balance. So I would say, like do the work. Like, don't run from the work. Like, you feel me? Like, don't chase that lightning in a bottle. Like, Like, be timeless, be memorable. That's my my biggest jewel I can I can give to the youth is like put the time in to hone your craft, like to be purposeful with your music, like and try to heal a little bit out here, like, you feel me?
I think the game I got from is don't operate out of pride or arrogance. Trust that people know more than you, and make sure you remain disciplined, teachable, coachable, and make sure that you're a student of the game.
Absolutely. And now, Mark, you said something a moment ago. You said something about heal. The generation that we're used to, music was that for many of us in the culture. So that's very important. So the music that you guys are putting out, I'm a little biased because I do believe that your music is timeless. Would you also categorize it as being a healing music as well? A healing music for the culture?
Why certainly, like, because that's what it was originally for. It was for information. It was a teaching tool, like like that's how we learn our ABCs. Like, we put it in a in song form, like, So, like, that's our first educational tool, like, with his music, and like we gotta cherish it. We got we gotta keep it pure, like, Like, I ain't saying like we gotta go Kurt Franklin on them, but it's like shout out to Kurt, but but it gotta be some balance, like, we shouldn't have to be tearing down our communities and put messages in our music to tear down our communities, and we gotta live in them, like, so that's basically it, like,
we have a thing named positive vibration, right? So everything is vibrations, and it's not to say that you all one or the other, right? It's CodeGrey, literally means balance. So yeah, sometimes we got some dark music, right? Sometimes we got some light music, but the whole goal of it is to push the culture forward. So yeah, it's gonna heal a lot of people. It's gonna heal a lot of people. Absolutely believe that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you must know what I'm about to ask next. Can we give the people a freestyle, right? Let them know, just in case they are not aware. Let them know.
It name on in the air. 2 finger down. Squeeze off around everybody, make a sound. or play Sheldon. I wonder what would happen if every Jamaican gunshot was musical. Life could be a musical. Murder in the street wouldn't be business as usual. Youth wouldn't be so criminally recruitable and usable. Might live together like we used to do. My island is beautiful, but my midlife here so harsh. We're physically and psychologically scarred. We make so many run gone abroad. So much blood I run. People afraid for come back a yard. But although the living here can be tough, it's still sweet Jamaica. Land we love. Many kids can't just be kids. The heart.
From a wild life, people only see what we show.